to see this video. It's called "What Should a Woman Bring to the Table If She Earns More?" That means more than her man, fiance, or husband. So who you see on the screen here is Rico with his delicate earrings, his jewelry, and his Christian Dior J'adore headband. He has an issue with Erin basing her respect on a man by his finances, which when she explains that's not what she was doing. But he goes into this whole explanation about a man can pay someone to do what a woman provides. And Erin, this is Erin, she basically broke it down when Rico says, he provides a house, a man can provide a house and a car and all these material items. And then she said, yeah, you can provide that house, but I make it a home. I cook and clean. I do things that make your life easier for you. And Rico basically said, if he wants someone to clean the home, he could pay a maid $100 a week. He could also meal prep or have a meal prep company. I wasn't sure what he was alluding to. Go ahead and prep his meals and get meals for him. And also he could get an assistant to order things for him, whatever he needed. So he would be out $600 to $800. Now, that is the equivalent of what this man is saying that a woman who does all of her wifely duties would be bringing to the table. And understand, they are not talking about wife. I didn't hear anybody say anything about a wife. They literally expect a woman who is not their wife to do wifely duties. That's a whole other thing. But if you think about that $600 to $800, what popped up in my mind was that's about how much it costs to buy a slave. And that's another conversation. But yeah, he was basically saying a woman and what she's doing in the household, plus she's earning the money, it really doesn't amount to as much as what a man is doing. And that if a woman base how she treats a man or even going out to seek a partner, if she is taking into account his finances and that's important to her, that Black women basically will lose over time. And I say Black women because I've never heard this conversation brought up about women bringing something to the table. I've heard of couples discussing their future life together or how they would like to run their household or bills and things. They do discuss that, but I have never heard a man ever say what a woman will bring to the table. Usually it's the other way around because a man understands a woman and what he's looking for, and he has a clear understanding of himself, so therefore he will know the type of woman that he needs in his life. But for him to say that it's equivalent to $600 to $800, what Erin was saying that women do, that was just a little bit. Women do more than that. It's just that they were having a discussion. Those are the key points that she pointed out. But a woman provides immortality to the man. That's one of the biggest things, by giving him a legacy, because what a man cannot do, yeah, you can have that house, you can have that car, you can have all the money, you can have gold piled up to the ceiling. When you die, it will be there and the scavengers will come pick over it if you do not have a legacy to pass it down to. So that is definitely something. And I can hear men saying, oh, I can go out and get some other woman. it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, when you do go get a non-black woman, your children will be biracial. They most likely will marry not back into black, and that money will go back where it came from. So either way, it's a lose-lose situation for them. Also, having a partner, it adds years to a man's life. Also, it can bring him up economically into a whole different tax bracket and a whole different way of living, and having more income, double the income, or having substantially more, since women, are really pulling in that money and lifting them into the middle class. I mean, if you see black men in the middle class, 9 times out of 10, it's because he married this woman, and that is what put them in the middle class. Now, this lady here, she was discussing how, in order to not bruise a man's ego, that she wouldn't talk about how much she makes and how much she doesn't make. She was basically interpreting what Aaron was saying, how she treats a man. It could be based on whether he's a provider or he's not a good provider. Basically, if this man is a provider, usually the home is calm because this is a stable home with a stable foundation, and this woman doesn't have to stress or worry or watch behind her back, nervous that she may be put out on the street, homelessness. In these days today, in these moments today, when people could lose their job like that because it shipped overseas, or because of this pandemic, or anything, I mean, there's a lot of people out of work right now. And the respect factor of not being a provider, not being able to take care of a woman and children, could put stress and pressure on a woman, which affects the kids, which affects the relationship and the respect that she has for this man. That's just the way it is. If you have children and you have a spouse, if you have children and you have a woman, you are expected as a man to provide for them and do whatever you have to do and do whatever you can to provide for them. These men kind of act like they want someone to rub their back and pick up the slack, and everything is going to be okay, and be that 1950s wife that, gets them a coffee and a beer and rub their feet, and everything is going to be okay, and she's superwoman to come save the day or help him out. Now, one thing that's interesting is there was a lot of pushback on Erin, even though she's married, and she stated she's married. And also, Rico was talking about if he provides 80,000 to 90,000 a year. Let's stay in reality. That may be a goal, that may be a dream, that you can aspire to, but the median income, or the average income for African American or black people, is $41,000 to $45,000 a year. You are not making 80 and 90,000. If you are an anomaly. You are not the standard. So two people, a man and a woman making 40,000, will be at 80,000. That's what puts them into the 80 to 90,000 bracket, is when you are together and doing it together and married. That doesn't even push you into high value status, but it's better than being at 40,000 a year. And ripped jeans, I call the guy in the, I don't know if that's green or gray, with the ripped jeans at the knee and the brown shoes. whatever he has going on there, says that he owns a barbershop. He had to throw that out there. And the men in the barbershop are complaining that women are, they cook, they clean, they're doing their wifely duties, and then they slack off. And what's interesting to me about this is something normal within relationships. Men also slack off, the presents, the compliments, the flowers, the dates, even remembering birthdays and anniversaries sometimes, they F up. But it's just this thing with black women that black women have to be so perfect. And like I said, I don't see any other women up there. I see some biracial women. They didn't say a thing. They hardly said anything. The black women were talking because this is usually directed toward. And then Rico says, the one with the delicate jewelry and the Christian Dior J'adore headband, said that in his college it was over 60% black women and only half that for the black men. So they said the employers are more likely to hire black women because they're a minority and a woman. And these businesses will not hire a black man. So black women are getting these jobs. It's not black women's fault that they go into education and that they're a woman and black, and these men are hiring them. These women need to make a living for their families and themselves. And as men, I believe that they should be developing businesses, because there are women, black women, would prefer to work underneath a black man than a white man in a white company, in a majority white company, because it can be stressful. And I know that because I work in one of those. And I'm not saying that, the black man could not go left, because I have ran into a few of those too. But what really gets me is this talk about Ripped Jeans asked this question: if a woman and man had a bank account and he took $9,000 out of a bank account that had 10,000, would the women be okay? And they said no, and nobody would be okay with that. First of all, if you're going to make a purchase or a large purchase like that, you need to sit down with your significant other and you need to discuss this. So there need to be some budgeting, there need to be some conversation, and no, you just don't get to go into the bank account and take money out of there just because you're a man and you feel like that. And that's what gets me, is they are asking women to go 50-50 and pay for the bills and pay for mortgages and rent and to help them out in their endeavors, but they want submission like from a 1950s wife. You cannot have both. You cannot have a woman out here working her ass off as hard as you, bringing in more money than you, and then asking her to submit and be a 1950s Stepford wife, living in a whole fantasy land. I don't understand how their mind work, and I don't know if this is because the way they are brought up, the way they're coddled within their homes and community, or what it is. I don't understand it, because it seems like the women have the mindset that the men should have, and the men want to rest in their femininity with their delicate jewelry and their Christian Dior J'adore headbands. Also, they can only make it to a higher tax bracket and a better way of life when they get married and the woman is bringing something to the table. So you don't get that 1950 Stepford wife unless you're bringing everything to the table plus the table. Even biblically, there is no way of weaseling out of this. A man is supposed to provide for a woman. And if he wants her to do all these duties, the cooking, the cleaning, the dry cleaning, the making sure everything is in its proper place, rearing children, that's a full-time job, 24/7. You don't get a day off from. while rearing their legacy and giving them immortality. And then have the nerve to sit up here and talk about a woman's worth. A black woman's worth is only $600, $800. Like I said, the amount that they paid for a slave. Let me know what you think about this video. I will leave a link in the description bar. You can go ahead and click on that and you can see the whole 18-minute video. And then go ahead and comment. Let me know what you think about it. And I will see you in the next one.